What is up, everybody? My name is Isaac Caulfield, and I'm the co-founder of Vantage Lead Gen. And today we're going to be talking about bad cold emails, right? I make a lot of content about good cold emails. Obviously, I do cold email for my agency clients, but I don't think people take enough time to understand what makes a bad cold email and what separates it from a good cold email. So today we're literally just going to hop in my inbox here, as you can see, and just go through some of the emails that I get, on a daily basis and talk about why they don't really work and what I would do personally to make them better. So, as you might be able to see here, we're kind of in my spam folder, right? Which, if you don't know anything about cold email, that's your first building block. You can't get someone on a call, you can't have someone see your stuff if they can't actually see your message, right? Like, if I didn't go out of my way to go from out of my inbox into my spam folder, I would have never seen this person's message. In fact, it's August 27th. It's almost been a month since this person sent me an email. And if then I didn't have the intent in making this video, I would have never seen that email. So the first step in cold email, right? You may think it's the offer, you may think it's the targeting. It's actually the deliverability, right? You cannot have a successful cold email campaign if you can't even land in the inbox. Offer and messaging aside, right? You need to be able to actually be in front of the people that you want to talk to if you want to get results with cold email. So the first thing I would fix about this is making sure your deliveries test out. So whoever sent me this email here should probably be testing their inboxes, at least once a week, warming up for about 14 days, and then rotating their inboxes. So that way they're not having problems where they land in spam, right? You also want to stay away from, cheap $1 and $2 accounts. Although those may work for a little bit, long term they aren't really reliable. So going with something like SMTP or just the standard ESPs, Google, Microsoft, yeah, they may be a little more expensive and premium, but you're gonna get the value that you pay for, and you're gonna have full control over how those inboxes are set up and how the deliverability is managed. So diving into the email right here, it says question about John Magic. Right, so this isn't a bad subject line. One thing I would change is just the capitalization. You don't want to make it sound like it's a formal email. It's not too big of a deal, but I would probably make this a lowercase q. And then the second thing that stands out to me about this email is I have no idea who John Magic is, right? So right away as a business owner, if I'm checking it on my phone, if I'm checking on my laptop, I'm already skeptical, right? I'm thinking, okay, like, who is this person? I don't know who John Magic is. Clearly it's a cold email. Clearly it's a spam, just has nothing to do with me. I'm probably not even going to open it. But let's say I did, right? And just kind of keep going through everything for all intents and purposes. So he says, hey, Isaac, I saw you work with John Magic. Curious about what it's like to work with them. So this is just not a good cold email, and I'm gonna break it down why. The first one is, this is fine. He says, hi, Isaac. But then he says, I saw you work with John Magic. Again, I have no idea who John Magic is. Maybe if he had done research on my company and researched my clients and some of my case studies that I have out on the internet and called that out, I would be a little more interested. But again, I have no idea who John Magic is. Never worked with anybody named John Magic. Again, just kind of irrelevant to me. And that's exactly why your cold emails don't get read, right? You need to have relevance to the person you're trying to target. So even if he had just called out something that I've posted on my LinkedIn, my interest in attention span would go from this to this, because now he's actually calling something out that's relevant to me. And then he goes down in here and says, curious about what it's like to work with them. So I can kind of understand what he's doing here, right? Like, he's thinking, okay, people get pitched all the time. I want to stand out. I want to be a little different from the crowd. So I'm just going to, ask him a question here, right? Two things on that. One, I will never, just go back and forth casually over email for a conversation. I use my email to operate my business and to communicate with my team and clients, right? I'm not using my email address as a, direct message feature. So I see what he was doing here, but that's just the wrong approach. And that's primarily the reason, right? Like, I'm not going to go back and forth with you over email, even if I do know you, right? Like, send me a text message, give me a call, send me a voicemail. I'm busy. Most of my clients are busy. So that means that having a conversation over email is not the most efficient use of my time. So I simply probably wouldn't respond to this, even if I was interested, right? So with cold email, you want to give them permission to read the next line. So if he had started this with something that was actually relevant to me and not whoever John Magic is, I would have kept reading, but then I would have gotten here and curious about, like, I don't have time to then explain, XYZ over email, right? Like, you can either pay for my time on a consultation, or if I'm interested, maybe I'll reach out on socials and vice versa. But I see what he was doing, and that's the wrong approach. What I would have done in this situation is, again, make sure I'm keeping this first line relevant, but also I'm just getting straight into the offer, right? I've had plenty of responses to cold emails where I just get straight into it, right? No personalization, no dilly dally, like, I get straight to the point. I give them my offer. And people appreciate that, right? People appreciate when you respect their time, and they're business owners, they're trying to sell stuff. So in the right context, they can understand when, okay, this person is here to offer me something. They are trying to sell me something, but it's relevant, and they're not here to waste my time. They're just going to put it in front of me, see if I like it, see if I don't. If I don't, they'll move on. If I do, we'll hop on a call. We'll discuss further. So I would have, liked to see him get into his offer here, right? I still have no idea what his offer is, right? Like, okay, you emailed me. Clearly, you're here to sell me something. It's a cold email. It's very obvious. Saying curious about what it's like to work with them, that's not an offer, right? That's not something that gets me to be like, oh, I would be interested in that, right? I don't know who you are. I don't know who your company is. Again, I don't know who John Magic is. So I would personally like to see him say something like, hey, we recently helped clients like, maybe if I was working with someone like John Magic, call out that ICP, achieve XYZ result in the X time frame using XYZ method. Would you be interested in hearing some strategies we had in mind for, Vantage? Or would you be interested in discussing further? Or is this worth more information? That would be a better frame of, cold email. And it would honestly probably get my attention a little more. Because if I was working with someone like this and someone else is telling me I can get clients just like that person and I know I can deliver for them, I'm probably going to be a little more interested. So going on to the follow-up here, again, you're in the spam folder here. So from that first message, the campaign's already cooked. He probably doesn't know that because he probably hasn't tested, or he just hasn't looked at his deliverability regularly enough to know that he's landing in the spam folder. So he follows up and he says, I was asking because it looks like we work with similar clients and have heard you deliver good work, so wanted to reach out. Would like to get connected and see if there's some synergy. Sometimes our clients ask us for referrals for different services, so I want to have a trusted partner to share their service. So again, the approach isn't the greatest. I see what he's trying to do here, but I'm going to tell you why I would not be interested in this email, whatsoever, right? So he starts off with, I was asking. With cold email, you want to focus on the prospect. So instead of talking about I, me, my, we, all the time throughout the cold email, you want to make it very forward-facing on the client and exactly what you can achieve for them, and exactly what they can get out of this partnership, right? Almost to the point where you need to be able to explain to them exactly what value they're going to get out of this email, for 3 to 5 seconds of their time. You want them to have some sort of value so they can equate you with value, right? Your email is an extension of you. So if you have a good cold email, and it's valuable and it piques someone's interest, that person's going to value you, see you as a more valued service provider. And, that may lead to more meetings, more closed deals, and so on here. But in here, again, he's just talking about almost nothingness, right? Like, there's no context to why he thinks we work with similar clients. Like, I'm not going to go out of my way to look at his website to see, oh, he actually did work with clients, right? That's too much work for me. I'm busy, and I just don't want to, frankly. Like, it's probably the last thing I want to do. Whereas he had called out, I work with XYZ in this niche, similar to your client list, and it was accurate. Again, I would be more interested, even if I hadn't seen the first email. And then he goes here, he says, would like to get connected and see if there's some synergy. Well, no, I don't really want to get connected and see if there's some synergy. I don't know who you are. I don't know, again, what you're trying to offer me. And I'm busy, right? Like, it's just not something I'm interested in. Some of our clients ask us for referrals for different services, so I wanted to have a trusted partner. This is a little better, but again, no context, so I really wouldn't be interested in exploring, referrals, getting on the phone with you. Because at the end of the day, you're probably gonna try to sell me something. I'm a sales guy as well, so I understand the game, but, just come straight in with the pitch. Don't waste my time. Make it very clear in exactly what you can do for me. And if it's valuable, I'm gonna explore further. I might ask for more info. I might, ask for a call, right? But coming in at an angle where you may think it's helping and standing out, this email is very vague. It kind of doesn't really explain exactly what he's trying to offer, and he's doing it in a way that he's framing it as this partnership thing, but it's just very easy to snuff out, and I personally would not respond to something like this. And then, it kind of just keeps going. And yes, it is good to follow up, but I will say in 2024, especially with deliverability going down, if you don't get a response to that second or third email, your best bet is to just move on, right? Because theoretically, if he had landed in the inbox here, right, and I kept seeing these emails, August 29th, 3 days apart here, 4 days apart here, and another one. Oh, I just realized I didn't say much about what we do. Okay, so now he's actually getting into the offer. We do Facebook. Already I'm turned off. This has been beat up, thrown around the bush, seen almost every day. I don't want Facebook ads. I have people that if I want to run my ads, I'll run ads. I really don't even run ads. I'm a cold email guy, so he probably should have seen that and done some sort of research as to, okay, like, clearly he's not doing any paid advertising. Maybe there's some value. Maybe I can offer a flowchart, a presentation of how, if our company was to run paid ads, how he could benefit from that, because, he does primarily cold email. That's how I would take this approach. But again, we're here on the fourth email. If this lands in my inbox, most of the time, what ends up happening, and again, this whole video is just to explain what it feels like, on the client side, so you can understand how to actually get your cold emails read and answered to, is if I see this fifth email, I'm just going to be pissed, right? Like, maybe I come in on a Wednesday, I still got 2 days in the week, maybe employee messed up a big deal, maybe we lost a big deal, whatever. Maybe my wife yelled at me previously before going into work, maybe I got in a car accident, and I come in and see this, like, I'm going to be pissed, and I'm going to go spam folder, right? And that's going to kill your deliverability, right? Clients putting you in the spam folder and the promotions folder, even if you have a great offer, is what kills you. So by keeping it 2 to 3 emails long, your sequence, you're doing more good than harm. You may think, oh, I just need to follow up with them. Like, no, if they don't respond by the third email, chances are they're probably not interested. And one, you need to save yourself the time and get through the rest of your lead list. But two, you need to save yourself from getting put into the spam folder, right? Because if someone sees that fourth email, right, and they don't want to get emailed by you, they're going to be pissed and probably put you in the spam folder out of spite, when you could just send 2 to 3 emails, they'll tell you they're not interested and move on. Your deliverability is good and you can keep going. But, by sending 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 emails, all you're doing is just increasing your chances of getting put in the spam folder. So overall, I rate this cold email a 3 out of 10. I think the subject line is fine. He really messed up with, John Magic. I have no idea who that is. So that is a point where I would, almost say broke this email. And then two, just there's no actual offer, right? Like, he gets the first 3 emails aren't talking about what he can do for me or what he has to offer. And as a business owner who already feels like they don't have enough time to do everything they need to do in a day, fishing around in my inbox to try to figure out what someone is trying to say or do for me is very low on my list of priorities. And oftentimes I'll just never do it, almost even if there is something valuable. So again, 3 out of 10 emails there. The deliverability, you've got to have that dialed in if you want to see any success with cold email. But that's really just, what I think as a cold emailer. People have different opinions, people have different tactics, but as someone who sends cold emails every day and gets responses, this is how my brain works. This is kind of how the psychology of the cold email works. So we'll go to another one here. and just kind of look. So, again, looks like this person emailed me. Wow. Okay, so another really interesting cold email here, right? And people get creative, man. I gotta hand it to them. But it looks like at some point along the line, this person sent me an initial email. And that's problem number one with this email, right? If you are going to follow up with somebody or pester somebody in your inbox, keep it in the same chain, right? Like, say he had sent me something valuable and he genuinely was trying to just follow up with me and keep the conversation going. I'm like, who is this person? What email did you send me? I'm not going back into my inbox to try to find the first email you sent me. So if you keep it in the first chain, like that first example, at least I can just go through and trace back to where the first email was if I was interested. Did you get abducted by aliens, Isaac? I see the creativity, but again, one, this is just not professional at all. Not that you have to be buttoned up, but abducted by aliens, man. Like, you're sending to corporate people, you're sending to people that are buttoned up in shirts and ties every day. They don't speak like this. They would never speak like this. And again, with cold email, it is supposed to be a little more casual, but again, you want to keep in mind that you're talking to business owners, you're talking to business professionals. So by asking them a subject line of being abducted by aliens, it's not a really professional look for your company, and it just rubs people the wrong way. Obviously, I didn't get abducted by aliens. I just don't want to answer your email, or I didn't even get your email. In this case, I didn't because it's in the spam folder. So just keep that in mind when you're sending cold emails. You are sending to real businesses and real owners, and as much as you can test and iterate stuff, whatever you send out is reflecting upon you and your company, and you want to have the most professional look in your emails. So kind of just getting into the email here, it says, I promise reading this email will be more exciting than your last Zoom meeting. Okay, maybe not. At the same time, though, I would never say that. Again, you have 3 to 5 seconds when someone's reading your cold email. It's very imperative that you have the most value for time in that email, right? So by just typing away and saying randomness, like, I promise this reading this email will be more interesting than your last Zoom meeting, you're just wasting time, right? You're wasting time. If I see this, I'm probably just clicking off of it, right? You're wasting attention. People's attention spans are so short in this day and age, so you have to adjust for that and be ready for that. It just makes it, very difficult for your email to actually get read. Also, too, this just comes across as needy, right? Like, please read my email, please, please, please. Like, I'm already going to be turned off to the fact that he's sending me a cold email and he's saying this is going to be more exciting, Everyone out there thinks they have the best things in sliced bread. And if you believe in your product, great, but at the same time, understand that you have to be different. You have to stand out. So he goes on to say, I saw you didn't respond to my last email. I can assume that there are 3 possible reasons for that, getting more customers and that's top of mind for you. That's not true. I'm always trying to get more customers. I'm always trying to grow my business. So, that's a fallacy. You don't trust me, men with receding hairlines. Again, just wasting time. Like, maybe I'll get a chuckle out of this, but I'm not, trying to hop on a call with you. You got abducted by aliens here. So, I'm not even going to read the rest of this. Either way, looking forward to hearing it. This is a terrible cold email, right? It's kind of, maybe I got a couple laughs out of it. Maybe it's a little more different than what other people would send. But again, no value prop here. I don't even know what he sent me in the first email because he didn't even put it in the same chain, which if you're following up, should probably be the first thing that you do. Keep everything in the same thread. And then, he's just joking around here. So as a professional, as someone who's trying to grow their business, as someone who's front-facing with, high-profile individuals on a daily basis, right? I want to keep my name, my brand as professional and clean as possible. And I would never allow an employee to send something like this out. Maybe he got some hits on it, but I personally, for my brand and my image, I do not want to be associated with messaging like this. So I give this cold email a 1 out of 10. Really, it's not great. I'm going to do another one of these when I get a good cold email and kind of break down why it was better. But the purpose of this video, again, was just to show you guys, people out there that are getting started with cold email, maybe you're trying it, maybe you're not really seeing any success, why you may not see success and what it actually takes to see success. Again, most of you can write better cold emails than the two I just kind of broke down there. But it does take a little more effort and intensity than just spending something up and sending it out, because you're sending to a real person, right? I'm a real person with a business who's operating, who is going to give my money to somebody at some point for some service, so I'm not saying that just don't do it, because you should do it. There's buyers out there waiting to buy something maybe similar to what you have, but you need to be able to put yourself in front of them as someone who they actually want to purchase from. And in this case, these two emails, I would have never given them the time of day. If it weren't for the fact that I went to my spam folder, I wouldn't even know that they had sent me an email. And I just, wouldn't really be interested in exactly what they were offering. So if you like that video, like the rest, I've got a couple other videos talking about cold email, breaking them down, and teaching you step by step exactly how you can implement them to scale your agency and grow your company to the next level. And thanks for your time, and we'll see you on the next one.